Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, right here in Hythe, Kent, southeast England, just near the English Channel, down the road from Folkestone and farther down the road from Canterbury. We welcome you all. Happy to be back with you again and being able to sustain this latest string of nectar that's being made possible to us by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur glorified the Sri Caitanya-caritämrta in a very poetic way. He said this: in due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, we've reached the 16th chapter of Madhya-lila. Lord Chaitanya has tried to go to Vrndävana and spent a little bit of time in Navadvip and the areas around Navadvip, visiting various devotees of his, seeing Mother Sachi, Dvaitacharya, and all the devotees. Now he's back in Jagannath Puri, and he's explaining to his devotees about his trip. And one of the things he's describing now is the meeting that he had with Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. We're starting from text 263. Indeed, the humility of these two brothers could even melt stone. Because I was very pleased with their behavior, I told them, although you are both very much exalted, you consider yourselves inferior, and because of this, Krishna will very soon deliver you. Purport. Such are the qualifications of a pure devotee. Materially, one may be very opulent, experienced, influential, and educated, but if one still thinks himself lower than the straw in the street, one attracts the attention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Krishna. Although Maharaj Prataparudra was a king, he took up a broom to cleanse the road for Lord Jagannath's Rath chariot. Because of this humble service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with the king, and for that reason the Lord embraced him. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, a devotee should never be puffed up by material power. He should know that material power is the result of one's past good activities, karma, and is consequently transient. At any moment, all one's material opulence can be finished. Therefore a devotee is never proud of such opulence. He is always humble and meek, considering himself lower than a piece of straw. Because of this, the devotees are eligible to return home, back to Godhead. Text 265, 266. After speaking to them in this way, I bade them farewell. As I was leaving, Sanatan told me, "It is not appropriate for one to be followed by a crowd of thousands when going to Vrndävana." Text 267. Although I heard this, I did not pay it any attention, and in the morning I went to the place named Kanai, Natashala. 268. At night, however, I considered what Sanatan had told me. I decided that Sanatan had spoken very well. I was certainly being followed by a large crowd, and when people would see so many men, they would surely rebuke me, saying, "Here is another impostor." 270. I then began to consider that Vrndävana is a very solitary place. It is invincible and very difficult to attain. I therefore decided to go there alone, or at the utmost, with only one person. 271. Madhavendra Puri went to Vrndävana alone, and Krishna, on the pretext of giving him milk, granted him an audience. Text 272. I then understood that I was going to Vrndävana like a magician with his show, and this is certainly not good. No one should go to Vrndävana with so many men. 273. I have therefore resolved to go alone, or at the utmost with one servant. In this way my journey to Vrndävana will be beautiful. Text 274. I thought, instead of going to Vrndävana alone, I am going with soldiers and the beating of drums. 275. I therefore said, "Fie on me," and being very much agitated, I returned to the banks of the Ganges. 276. I then left all the devotees there and brought only 5 or 6 persons with me. 277. Now I wish that you will all be pleased with me and give me good consultation. Tell me how I shall be able to go to Vrndävana without impediments. 278. I left Gadadhar Pandit here, and he became very unhappy. For this reason, I could not go to Vrndävana. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is saying, I couldn't go to Vrndävana because I displeased Gadadhar Pandit. 279. Being encouraged by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, Gadadhar Pandit became absorbed in ecstatic love. Immediately clasping the lotus feet of the Lord, he began to speak with great humility. 280. Gadadhar Pandit said, Wherever you stay is Vrndävana, as well as the river Yamuna, the river Ganges, and all other places of pilgrimage. 281. Although wherever you stay is Vrndävana, you will still go to Vrndävana, just to instruct people. Otherwise, you will do whatever you think best. Purport. It was not essential for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrndävana, for wherever he stayed was immediately converted to Vrndävana. Indeed, at that place were also the river Ganges, the river Yamuna, and all other places of pilgrimage. This was also expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he danced in the Rath Yatra. At that time he said, that his very mind was Vrindavan. Moramana, Vrndävana. Because his mind was Vrindavan, all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna were taking place within himself. Nonetheless, just to teach people, he visited Boma Vrindavan, Vrindavan Dham in this material world. In this way, the Lord instructed everyone to visit Vrindavan Dham, which is a very holy place. Materialists consider Vrindavan Dham to be an unclean city, because there are many monkeys and dogs there, and along the bank of the Yamuna there is refuse. Some time ago, a materialistic man asked me, why are you living in Vrindavan? Why have you selected such a dirty place to live after retiring? Such a person cannot understand that the earthly Vrindavan Dham is always a representation of the original Vrindavan Dham. Consequently, Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as Lord Krishna. Aradhyo Bhagavan Braje Shatanayas Tad Dhamma Vrindavanam. According to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, Lord Sri Krishna and his abode, Vrindavan, are equally worshipable. Sometimes materialistic people who have no spiritual understanding go to Vrindavan as tourists. One who goes to Vrindavan with such materialistic vision cannot derive any spiritual benefit. Such a person is not convinced that Krishna and Vrindavan are identical. Since they are identical, Vrindavan is as worshipable as Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's vision, Moramana Vrndävana, is different from the vision of an ordinary materialistic person. At the Rath Yatra festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, absorbed in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, dragged Lord Krishna back to Vrindavan Dham. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke of this in the verses beginning Ahush Chate, Madhya 13, 136. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13, it is stated, Yasyat mabudi kunape tridhatuke swadi kalatradi bhauma ijudihi yat tirtha buddhi salile nakarhachij jane shabig saeva gokaraha. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of birth as worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally renovated Vrindavan Dham and advised his chief disciples, Rupa and Sanatan, to develop it and open it to attract the spiritual vision of the general populace. At present there are about 5,000 temples in Vrindavan, and still our society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is constructing a huge, magnificent temple for the worship of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, along with Radha, Krishna, and Guru Gauranga. Since there is no prominent Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, we are attempting to construct one so that people will be attracted to Krishna Balaram, or Nitai, Gaurachandra. Rajendra Nandanaye Shachi Sutta Haila Se. Narottam Das Thakur says that Balaram and the son of Maharaj Nanda have advented themselves as Gaura Nitai. To propagate this fundamental principle, we are establishing a Krishna Balaram temple to broadcast to the world that worship of Gaura Nitai is the same as worship of Krishna Balaram. Although it is very difficult to enter into the Radha Krishna pastimes, most of the devotees of Vrindavan are attracted to the Radha Krishna Lila. However, since Nitai Gaurachandra are direct incarnations of Balaram and Krishna, we can be directly in touch with Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Those who are highly elevated in Krishna consciousness can enter into the pastimes of Radha Krishna through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a combination of Radha and Krishna. Sometimes materialists, forgetting the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Krishna Balaram, go to Vrindavan, accept the land's spiritual facilities, and engage in material activity. This is against the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Prakrita Sahajas proclaim themselves Brajavasis or Dhamvasis, but they are mainly engaged in sense gratification. Thus they become more and more implicated in the materialistic way of life. Those who are pure devotees in Krishna consciousness condemn their activities. The eternal Brajavasis, like Sarup Damodar, did not even come to Vrindavan Dham. Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Sri Haridas Thakur, Sri Vas Pandit, Shivananda Sen, Sri Ramananda Roy, Sri Shiki Mahiti, Sri Madhavi Devi, and Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami never visited Vrindavan Dham. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that we have no authorized documents stating that these exalted personalities visited Vrindavan. Nonetheless, we find many non-devotees, Mayavadi sannyasis, Prakrita Sahajas, fruitive workers, mental speculators, and many others with material desires or material motives going to Vrindavan to live. Many of these people go there to solve their economic problems by becoming beggars. Although anyone living in Vrindavan somehow or other is benefited, the real Vrindavan is appreciated only by a pure devotee. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Trudita Bhakti Vilochanena. When one has purified eyes, he can see that Sri Vrindavan and the original Goloka Vrindavan, planet in the spiritual sky, are identical. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Sri Bhagavan Das Babaji Maharaj, and Sri Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and later Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur of Calcutta, always engaged in Nama Bhajan, and certainly did not live anywhere but Vrindavan. Presently, the members of the Hare Krishna movement throughout the world live in materially opulent cities such as London, New York, Los Angeles, Paris, Moscow, Zurich, and Stockholm. However, we are satisfied with following in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other acharyas, because we live in the temples of Radha Krishna and continuously hold Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of Hare Krishna. We consequently live in Vrindavan and nowhere else. We are also following the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by attempting to construct a temple in Vrindavan for our disciples throughout the world to visit. Text 282. Taking this opportunity, Gadadhar Pandit said, "Just now, the 4 months of the rainy season have begun. You should therefore spend the next 4 months in Jagannath Puri." 283. After remaining here for 4 months, you will be free to do as you like. Actually, no one can stop you from going or remaining. 284. Upon hearing this statement, the devotees present at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated that Gadadhar Pandit had properly presented their desire. 285. Being requested by all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to remain at Jagannath Puri for 4 months. Hearing this, King Prataparudra became very happy. 286. That day, Gadadhar Pandit extended an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord took his lunch at his place with the other devotees. 287. No ordinary human being can possibly describe Gadadhar Pandit's affectionate presentation of food or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tasting this food. 288. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes, which are unlimited and unfathomable. Unfathomable. Somehow or other, these have briefly been described. It is not possible to describe them elaborately. 289. Although Lord Anantadev is always describing the pastimes of the Lord with his thousands of mouths, he cannot reach the end of even one of the Lord's pastimes. Text 290. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pariyara Ash Caitanya-caritämrta Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya-lila, chapter 16, describing Lord Chaitanya's attempt to go to Vrindavan. Jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. The eternal pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. The instructions of the Lord's eternal associates to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Srup Damodar, and all the other eternal associates of the Lord ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. All right. So, let us move on to chapter 17. The Lord travels to Vrindavan. So 16 was his attempt to travel to Vrindavan, and now he's going to go to Vrindavan. Before I go on to read this chapter, I want to share with you a very sweet thing that happened while we were staying at the house of Chakradhari Prabhu, Dr. Chandra Rao, and his good wife, Rajlakshmi, and their 2 children, Haripriya and Gauranga Madhava. We were in a state most of the time we were there. The first 2 days we stayed there and we did our readings, and it was very, very nice. You might have noticed the temple, the altar of the temple they had on these the last 2 readings I had before coming back to Hive. But through the mouth of the babes, the children, they told me before I left, and even then, when we came back from the hospital, one of them said to me, Maharaj, the atmosphere in our house has changed. Now it feels like a temple. And I was just struck with wonder. And the other one said the same thing, separately from the other one. They must have talked. And so, even though I am a very fallen soul, and I have no qualifications to even associate with the devotees, what to speak of with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because we've taken up this service of reading Srila Prabhupada's books seriously to the Vaishnavas, it seems that wherever we go and do this, the atmosphere changes in the place where we're staying. Same thing as here. We're in this little, small 2-bedroom flat, and in this room we have very, very simple little altar, pictures I've been carrying with me for a long, long time, and there's only 3 of us, and we're not having big Harinam Kirtan. We can't, because the neighbors will complain. But just because we chant our rounds here seriously, and we hear and chant, and Abhaya Das Brahmachari goes out and distributes books and chants and passes out prasadam cookies and gives out books. And Radharaman is always talking with the ashram devotees at the London Temple, helping them through their various obstacles in living in a huge city amidst the pandemic. This place has become transformed. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. So this is the proof of the pudding. Even though we are not such exalted devotees, but just by seriously practicing this process and becoming attached to hearing and chanting Prabhupada's books, associating with Prabhupada and all the transcendental personalities described in these holy scriptures, we're living in Vrindavan. And it's perceivable. And it was even perceivable to the children of Chakradhari and Rajlakshmi, who were, by the way, initiated disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. So it's the truth. The words on the pages of these books are true. As Krishna says, as Arjuna said to Krishna, whatever you say, I accept as truth. In the Bhagavad Gita. So that is our only path back home, back to Godhead. To actually, with a humble and simple intelligence, accept what the Lord says and what the Lord's pure devotees, our previous acharyas, are saying. Simple, without argument, with love and affection. And then we live in Vrindavan by doing this. Hare Krishna. So, chapter 17. The Lord travels to Vrindavan. The following summary of the 17th chapter is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. After attending the Ratha Yatra ceremony of Sri Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to start for Vrindavan. Sri Ramananda Roy and Surup Damodar Goswami selected a Brahmana named Balabhadra Bhattacharya to personally assist Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Early in the morning, before sunrise, the Lord started for the town of Kataka. North of Kataka, he penetrated a dense forest and came upon many tigers and elephants, whom he engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Whenever the Lord had a chance to visit a village, Balabhadra Bhattacharya would beg alms and acquire some rice and vegetables. If there were no village, Balabhadra would cook whatever rice remained and collect some spinach from the forest for the Lord to eat. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with the behavior of Balabhadra Bhattacharya. In this way, the Lord passed through the jungle of Jharikanda and finally reached Varanasi. After taking his bath in the Manikarnika Ghat at Varanasi, he met Tapan Mishra, who took the Lord to his place and respectfully gave him a comfortable residence. At Varanasi, Vaidya Chandrasekhar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's old friend, also rendered service unto him. Seeing the behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a Maharashtrian Brahmana informed Prakashananda Saraswati, the leader of the Mayavadi sannyasis. Prakashananda made various accusations against the Lord. The Maharashtrian Brahmana was very sorry about this, and he brought the news to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, inquiring from him why the Mayavadi sannyasis did not utter the holy name of Krishna. In reply, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that they were offenders and that no one should associate with them. In this way, the Lord bestowed his blessings upon the Brahmana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next passed through Prayag and Mathura and then took his lunch at the home of the Sanudiya Brahmana, a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. He bestowed his blessings upon the Brahmana by accepting lunch at his place. Thereafter the Lord visited the 12 forests of Vrindavan and was filled with great ecstatic love. As he toured the Vrindavan forests, he heard the chirping of parrots and other birds. And again, tonight I'm going to ask you all to be very patient with me and allow me to stop the actual reading here. Well, it's a good stopping place. It's just as the chapter 17 will begin. We hope you are all enjoying these pastimes as much as we are. I just have a limited capacity to sit in a chair. It'll be like this for a few more weeks, from what I hear. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. If there are any reflections, any discussions, anything anyone would like to say, please say it. Hare Krishna.
Gopakanya-devidasi says, Jai Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Gopakanya-devidasi.
Hare Krishna and happy Ekadashi.
Thank you so much. Yes, another reason why my voice is a little weak is I chanted 64 rounds today, first thing. So there you have it, the joys of Ekadashi. Hare Krishna.
And from Rajalakshmi, she says, Hare Krishna.
Well, Hare Krishna, Rajalakshmi, we just told the story of our stay at your house. It was so nice.
Brian Phillips says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So nice to see you. Really looking forward to my dose of nectar. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you. I'm waiting for some reflections to come from Bhakta Brian Phillips. By the way, Hare Krishna. I know you have some deep things to say. Hare Krishna.
From Sudevi Dasi. She says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. Every day you are here is the best of time, no matter what I have to deal with in life. Please accept my humble obeisances and such appreciation. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Well, Sudevi, thank you very much. That's deeply appreciated, and it's the proof of what we just heard in this last chapter and the experience that I have in my personal spiritual life. That as long as we hear and chant together, the world becomes spiritual. Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai Rati Manjari, Haribo, Haribo.
This is from Jai Radhe Devi Dasi.
Jai Radhe Devi Dasi, Hare Krishna.
She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for these daily readings. I am very grateful for these.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, and I'm trying to figure out, is this Jai Sri Radha? Are you from Dallas? Anyway, you can tell me if you like. So many devotees with similar names, I can't keep them track of them.
Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi.
Jai Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi, what a nice name.
She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, nice to see you reading Caitanya-caritämrta again.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Braj Balaba says, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Braj Balaba, Hare Krishna.
He also says, when will my eyes be decorated with the salve of love of Godhead?
Just keep it up. Keep practicing and you'll get it.
And Gopakanya Devi Dasi says, thank you, dear Maharaj. Please take care and have good rest.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
Krishna Premavati says, please take care, Maharaj.
Thank you so much. The loving care is helping a lot.
And a comment from Rati Manjari. She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. How lovely to hear so much of the glory of Sri Vrndävana Dham.
Oh yes, oh yes. I was thinking of it also while we were reading, remembering how I stayed there for such a long time in Govardhan and helped refurbish that ashram under the guidance of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, your Diksha Guru. And all the wonderful experiences I had living in that environment. And according to the things we heard in the purports just now, relishing being in a place which is a little bit secluded and not so populated, you know. That ashram in Govardhan is very, very special. The taste of the holy Dham is very prominent there. So I was remembering those things, so thank you for reminding me. Hare Krishna.
She says, I came in a little late, so I might have missed it, but since today is the disappearance day of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, could you please elaborate a little bit on their glories?
Well, who am I to elaborate on the glories of these great personalities? You know, Krishnadas Goswami composed the perfect scripture and received the full mercy of Lord Nityananda, as we have heard in our readings of Caitanya-caritämrta. And this book became the life and soul of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our own dear Srila Prabhupada, and has been instrumental in spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das. These are the emblems of the highest, most intimate realms of devotional austerity, the levels of austerity that were achieved by Raghunath Das Goswami are unique. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave different instructions to different of his intimate associates, and they became known for these special features. And Raghunath Das Goswami is known as the Prayojana Acharya. He's the Acharya of the goal, how to achieve the goal of devotional service, Braj Bhakti, Krishna Prem, in the mood of the Brajbasis. And he lived on the bank of the Radha Kund for 50 years and performed the most severe austerities, but not out of, restraining himself, but because he was so much in ecstasy, bowing down to every Vaishnava who came there, chanting a certain prescribed number of rounds, lakh or two, I think, and 1,000 obeisances a day, and he did so many things, and he wrote some very intimate shastras to give us glimpses into the spiritual world, into the internal life of the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the Brajbasis. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was famous for, and Lord Chaitanya gave him the instruction, your duty is to always recite the Srimad Bhagavatam and chant the holy name of Krishna. So he would do that, and he would do it in very melodious tunes, different tunes, and in that way he would put all the Vaishnava devotees into bliss. And he could never tolerate hearing criticism of a devotee. If he heard someone even starting to criticize a devotee, he would immediately go to another place. He never heard criticism or criticized himself, the Vaishnavas. These are the most exalted examples of devotees who stayed in the holy dham and performed the miracles of their own bhajan. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, and as Prabhupada elaborated upon in the purports we just read, there are many of the most intimate associates who never went to Vrindavan. So wherever we are hearing and chanting about Krishna, Radha and Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these places are Vrindavan. As Gadadhar Pandit said to Lord Chaitanya, when he said that I couldn't go to Vrindavan because I offended Gadadhar Pandit by chastising him. Gadadhar Pandit replied, wherever you go is Vrindavan. So these are the devotees that spread Krishna consciousness all over the world without even going anywhere. Their desires are so powerful and so pure. They have no desire for their own sense gratification whatsoever. All they want to do is to share the nectar of Krishna consciousness with others for the pleasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is their life and soul. They have no other thoughts, no other desires, no other will to live. So if we follow in their footsteps and even develop a little drop of a desire to follow in their footsteps, then we will be automatically dear to Lord Chaitanya. Jai. Shri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai. Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo.
A few more comments. Krishna Premavati. Oops.
I'm going to stop at 8.
Krishna Premavati Devidasi says, it is hard not to hear from Mayavadis, Maharaj, being born in a family of them. I find it hard to deal with my Mayavadi family. It is so hard to get them to accept God as a person.
Well, that is a real test, I admit. All I can say is if you can do that, stay Krishna conscious in that environment and help your family members just by becoming a pure devotee and staying a pure devotee, you will become very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya and to Srila Prabhupada, for sure. All of us have our crosses to bear, as they say. Now, I'm on my 75th year. This next year I'll be 75, and I just had my first major surgery, and it is just a whole other life's experience. And yet, even though I'm in pain all the time, still this hearing and chanting is miracle. It's a miracle. So all I can say is, yes, it's difficult, but what isn't difficult? This material world means difficulty. It's Durga. It is the fortress. It is the place where Krishna has kindly given us to come when we want to live in a place where Krishna doesn't exist. Of course he exists, but where we can pretend he doesn't exist. So we came to this material world. We came to the particular family we were born in, and now we have received the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada, and we know about Krishna consciousness. Just as Prahlad Maharaj tolerated the abuse of his father because he was an atheist. Prahlad was only 5 years old. His only fault was that he was chanting Hare Krishna and teaching his classmates to do the same. And his father tried to kill him for it. So probably, although it's difficult for you, it's probably not as difficult as living with Hiranyakashipu and trying to be a devotee. So just tolerate. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. Keep tolerating. Even joke with them or whatever you have to do to keep the atmosphere a little light. But keep chanting Hare Krishna into their ears. Cook nice things. Offer them to Krishna. And let them taste Krishna Prasadam. And eventually, if not in this life, they will become devotees because of your devotional service. Hare Krishna.
From Braj Balaba.
Yes, Braj.
He says, I found it interesting how Prabhupada discusses people who come to visit Vrindavan.
Yes.
I can see how from the material aspects it is not so attractive. However, it is supercharged with spiritual energy. Even a dullard like me can see that.
Yes.
When one goes to Vrindavan, what should be the mood? So that's a question.
Well, we should go to Vrindavan. We should be careful when we go to Vrindavan. We should be very, very careful. If we're not capable of keeping ourselves aloof from thoughts of sense gratification or even engaging in some form of sense gratification, then we shouldn't stay in the holy dham very long. we should go and we should be very, very careful, and we should take the dust on our heads and worship the Holy Dham, and be very careful in our dealings with others while we're there. The Holy Dham is eternal. The Holy Dham of Vrindavan, Boma Vrindavan, is actually non-different from the original Vrindavan Dham. It's not just a duplicate, it's the same. There's no difference between them. And then, from time to time, there's a covering, prodamaya, which covers the Holy Dham and doesn't allow a person that is not pure to be able to see the Dham or perceive the Dham. But still, the Holy Dham is so powerful that its influence passes through that covering and gives us, as you mentioned, an experience that the place is not ordinary. So this depends on who we are. It depends on our stature, our spiritual attainment. But especially beginners, we should go to the Holy Dham with a very humble mood and very careful mood, not to make offenses while in the Dham. Because all the service that you do in the Holy Dham will give you 100,000 times more benefit. And if you make offenses to the Dham, you will get 100,000 times more reactions. Especially in Vrindavan Dham, the abode of Radha and Krishna. That's all I can say now. I made a pact with myself to stop at 8 o'clock, and it's now 8:05. Thank you very much, Braj Vallabha, for reminding us of that thing. Thank you, Rati Manjari, especially for your lovely question and reminder that this is the holy appearance days of these great, or disappearance days of these great souls. And yes, this is how we live, by reminding ourselves of these things and staying absorbed in these thoughts, no matter what kind of material duties we have, no matter what kind of circumstances we're in. If we continue to try to understand and try to remember these things in the association of the devotees, we will be elevated to the perfectional stage. Hare Krishna. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place, Dwadasi, right here in the Haven. Hare Krishna.